Right, welcome to this video where I'm going to be taking you through electrolysis. Now, if you think of electrolysis, the word as being in two different parts. Electro is telling that it's involving electricity, and the lysis bit is telling us that it involves splitting. So this is a process of splitting things using electricity. And one example of this is splitting hydrochloric acid. Now, hydrochloric acid, as you might have guessed, is made up of hydrogen, with of course the symbol H, and chlorine, with the symbol Cl. Oh, there we go. So this hydrochloric acid is of course the formula HCl. Now, this is made combining together hydrogen and chlorine gas, but what we can do is use electricity to split these up and produce hydrogen gas again and chlorine gas again. Now, you don't need to know the process of electrolysis in very much detail at all, but this is just a very basic mock-up of it. Basically, we have in here our liquid, so this might be our hydrochloric acid here. We put these two metal rods in and connect them to a DC voltage supply. That will then allow our compound, our hydrochloric acid, to start splitting, and then coming off one of these we will start getting hydrogen gas, and coming off another one we will start getting chlorine gas. Now, one thing you do need to know, however, are the tests for the different gases. So the hydrogen test, this is the nice fun one. If you have hydrogen, then take your test tube, get a lighted splint. If there is hydrogen present, you're going to get a very, very tiny little explosion in that test tube, and that is called a squeaky pop. So the hydrogen test is the squeaky pop test. Chlorine, that's a bit different. First off, you're probably going to be able to smell it, but it's not a good idea to sniff that. But what you can do is take some litmus paper. That litmus paper will turn red. So blue to start with, and then it turns red, and then it will turn white. So that will be blue to red to white. And the reason why it turns white is because you have just bleached it. It has a bleaching effect, so that's why that has just happened there. Now, chlorine gas actually has quite a lot of uses, and you do need to know these different uses. So, uses of chlorine. Now, the one that people seem to know the most is to do with water. So, treating water. Sometimes you can smell it when you go into a swimming pool. It's that weird chlorine-y smell, but that will keep the swimming pool free from bacteria. But it's also used in our water supply as well. It's also used in bleach and other cleaning products. And also used in the manufacture of some plastics. Such as PVC. And that C there actually stands for chloro, because it contains this chlorine. But there are some problems with chlorine as well. Sometimes gases can leak from chemical factories or from tankers, and if this does happen, many people could end up being killed or injured quite badly, because it does have a very harmful effect to living things. That's why it kills bacteria so nicely for us. Now you also need to know the electrolysis of water. It's pretty much the same principle. We'd have the same equipment, except coming off one of these we would have hydrogen, and coming off the other we would have oxygen. And your electrolyte would be the water. Now if you were doing seawater, you would actually also get some chlorine, but if we're just thinking about pure water, you're just going to get hydrogen and oxygen. Again, you need to know the tests for these, so to remind you, even though I've just said it, the hydrogen test is the squeaky pop test. The oxygen test, again you're going to take a splint, but this time it's going to be glowing. So you light it and then you blow it just until it's getting to that glowing thing. Put it to the test tube, and then because oxygen is flammable, it's going to burst into flame again, so it's going to relight almost. Now some uses of hydrogen. Include things like rocket fuel. Now this, mainly, if we're using it in this form, will come from oil and things like that. It's also used to fill weather balloons as well, but that is your main use of hydrogen for you to know. Uses of oxygen, well, clearly we need to breathe it in. So I'll just put this one out. Uses of oxygen. I'm just going to put life for that one. So for example, in hospital patients, you might want to give them some extra oxygen just to give them the extra bit of help if they're having difficulties, but also because it's needed for when we're burning things. It can also be used in welding torches. So what they do is mix oxygen with the fuel before you burn it, and this is going to make that flame very, very hot. Now that was a very basic rundown of what you need to know about electrolysis for our specification, which of course is our edXL GCSE science. Have a go at some practice questions all about this now, but good luck in your exam, and thank you for watching this video.